I'm Corinne Schaefer, and welcome to Create Outside the Box. In this episode, we will be speaking with musician Patricia Lazzara about her career as a soloist and as a leader of multiple ensembles that cross musical genres. If you're interested in watching our conversation, please visit the Creative Operations YouTube channel under the playlist Create Outside the Box. Patricia Lazzara has been described by the New York Times as being a bright, sweet, and technically accomplished flutist. A distinguished soloist, chamber, and orchestral musician, she is a three-time winner of the Artist International Competition in New York City and gave her critically acclaimed New York recital debut at Carnegie Hall. Patricia's solo CD, Radiance, was released in June 2018 to enthusiastic reviews. The album is a celebration of spiritual transformation and new creation with three newly commissioned pieces written specifically for the album. Composers include Grammy-nominated Ron Korb, Dimitri Varelis, and Maurizio Balzola. In the summers, Ms. Lazzara travels to Assisi, Italy, where she performs on the Assisi Performing Arts Concert Series. In July of 2022 and 2023, at the Assisi Performing Arts Festival, Ms. Lazzara and the ensemble Bella Luce performed memorable concerts of the works of noted European composer Armando Guidoni, who was present in the audience. Ensemble Bella Luce was a recipient of the 2023 Ridgewood Arts Foundation Performing Grant to showcase Armando Guidoni's compositional process. Ms. Lazzara has performed at Carnegie Hall several times and at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. She had the distinct honor of being the flute soloist for the Papal visits to Giants Stadium and collaborates with harp, guitar, piano, vocal, and string partners in many chamber music performances and in different genres. Ms. Lazzara is the co-director of New Jersey Flute Choir Day, is the conductor of the Ridgewood High School Flute Ensemble, and is on the faculty of the Encore Music Program in Ridgewood, New Jersey, in addition to a full studio of private students. So hello, Patty, and welcome to Create Outside the Box.
Thank you for having me today.
I'm excited to interview you because actually this is kind of a getting to know you for me as well as our audience, because I had heard of you and your wonderful talent from Rebecca Eng, and of course contacted you for the upcoming concert, the Community Performance Initiative Feed the Soul. So that's coming up in April. But I thought that this would be a wonderful opportunity to get to know you better and some of your other projects and your career as a musician.
Thank you. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to play in your concert too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait till we get to those rehearsals. But I wanted to start kind of at the beginning. What was your first introduction to music and what first drew you to the flute?
My father was a jazz pianist and also a string bass player. And he used to play in these jazz trios up in the Catskills and with his brother, and his brother was a drummer. And that's where my father met my mother in one of these restaurants. She was a waitress, so that was kind of fun. His family was from Sicily, so his mother loved to sing. So she used to sing these Puccini arias in the house, and so that's where our musical talent came from. And also, my oldest daughter is a soprano too. She has a beautiful voice.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And so I think I was about 12 years old. My mom took me to a concert of Claude Montu, a flutist, and he played one of the Mozart flute concertos. And I said, I really want to play the flute. It was just calling to me. And I was very, very shy as a child. And my mom said, she always wanted to encourage me to ask for things. And I was very shy, so I never wanted to ask for anything. And I said, I really want to play the flute. And so she went against her rules and she went and asked the band director to sign me up for a lesson. So since then, I think it was a great idea. And I'm very grateful to my mom for doing that, because I probably wouldn't have asked the band director to be in the band program.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
So you started at the age of 12 studying flute?
Yeah, which was late because everyone started in fourth grade. So I
Yeah.
started in sixth grade. I've been playing the piano for about 2 years.
Wow. And did you find that the piano helped you with learning the flute, or
Oh,
it was just two
definitely.
different? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So good to learn the bass clef, and because a lot of my students, they, can't read in the bass clef. So it's good to have piano background for sure.
And that's great about the musical lineage, from your father and your uncle and your grandmother, and now your daughter is singing as well. And that makes me laugh because I had a voice teacher, Ashley Putnam, who started out as a flute player, and then took those flute cadenzas and started, singing. Coloratura soprano was how she started her career. So
Okay.
you inspire maybe her singing with your flute cadenzas and your pieces, you think?
My daughter, I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, that was has a beautiful voice, and she used to play the flute too when she was in middle school, in high
Okay, so
school.
maybe there is a flute singing connection somewhere.
And we've done several concerts. I played on her graduate recitals, and yeah, so
Oh
and
my.
she actually sang on my album too. So
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that later. But yeah, there's like a bunch of things that you can do, like the little Lucia de Lammermoor. There's a lot of things for soprano and flute. So that's
right,
great.
yeah.
So you started at the age of 12, which was a little bit late, but then you went on to Carnegie Mellon, and then you continued your studies at the Hart School of Music. How do you think that the education at those institutions helped to shape your musical career?
Well, I was thinking that when I was in high school, everything was very easy for me musically. I was first chair in regions and all state and all that, and I did really well in all those competitions. And then when I went to college, I realized everyone else was like me. It's totally different. So I had to kind of learn how to build my own career. Do what was best for me. So that mindset I've kept all of my life. And I think that really helped, like we don't have to always just go into an orchestral career. We could build our, chamber music career, and we can do whatever we really want. So that's very exciting.
So did they have particular programs there that encouraged this entrepreneurial spirit, or was that just something that you?
No. Yeah, it's just something I just, felt inherently in myself.
And I
Yeah.
think that's important for people to hear, because there isn't just one path to success, and
Right.
there isn't just one
Sure.
career to be had. And there is a lot of a business aspect, whether, you're going after that solo career, you have to treat yourself as a business. But if you
Yes.
also want to expand into teaching or expand into ensembles, there's other things, organizational skills, people skills that go beyond what's in the practice room. So that's great that you picked up on that so early.
Yes. Yes, I was very happy to do that. Yeah.
Now, it was interesting when you were talking about your first introduction to music, which was through your family, and you were already hearing jazz and opera. And that kind of leads me to understand why you play so many different genres of music on the flute, which I love. You play everything from Latin to jazz to classical. I'm sure there's more that you will add to the list. What draws you to these different genres? I think it's great to showcase the flute, because people often have this idea that flute's only classical. So I love to break down those stereotypes with that. But what draws you to these different genres? And do you have a favorite?
I love playing French music. On the French music on the flute, it's so beautiful. It's so free, very expressive, and there's just so much repertoire, and written by flutists, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful genre to play. I love everything. I love the jazz, the modern contemporary things, not too crazy, but just things that are written, in this time period. And recently, my pianist and I played this incredible piece called the Deviations on Carnival of Venice, which is, instead of the variations on Carnival of Venice, it's the deviations. This piece is insane. for flute and piano, and one of the very, very challenging pieces. And Dave and I were really happy to play this. We did this in a concert in January. So I love anything that's challenging and fun to play. Lots of black notes on the page. I just love it. Anything that's expressive and I can really bring out my soul is important to me.
And what I also love is that it's about the expression, it's about the storytelling over the specific genre. So it's like whatever vehicle can tell that emotion and continue that story, that's what's going to appeal to you as an artist. And you brought up that you liked to perform new works. You are a huge proponent of new works by new composers, as seen on your album Radiance, because you had several new compositions written specifically for that album. But also recently, you received the 2023 Ridgewood Performing Arts Grant to support your work of showcasing Armando Guidoni's compositions. So this is great. This is exciting. What draws you to work with these new works and these new composers, but also how do you cultivate these relationships?
Yes, I as I was preparing for this question, I just realized that back in 2017-18, when I was preparing for my album, Radiance, my goal was to showcase these composers who are alive and thriving in the music business, and just wanting to, just to really support the musicians and the composers. So I had Daniel Dorff, a piece by him, Gary Shocker, who's very famous in the flute world, obviously, and Carlos Franzetti, Ron Korb, who's a Canadian flutist, good friend. And I love his music. And he wrote a piece for my flute partner and I, which is called Woodland Sonatine. It was really beautiful. And then a friend from Rome, Maurizio Balzola, wrote a piece for me that I did on the album. And so at that time, it was just so important for me to support these new composers. And just, I had something inside of me. Now, like 5 years later, it's like coming to fruition because of my association with Armando Guidoni. I've started this beautiful flute composing consortium, and he's writing a new piece for my ensemble. And it's just amazing to have these pieces come into the world, and have support from so many people. It's just the most beautiful thing. And Armando's written, he wrote one piece already for my flute partner and I, and we just premiered this last week at a concert. Yeah, it was really wonderful. And then the new piece is called Fantasia.
Wow. And where did you meet and how did you meet Armando?
Well, during the COVID lockdown, I was searching for new music to play. And I came across this piece called Jazzy Flute Challenge. And it was this, talking about like a story of this piece goes through 5 different sections of like a Spanish bullfight, and just is very virtuosic piece. It's one of the really high level top pieces in the flute repertoire, according to me. And so I just started to play this piece. Dave and I, my pianist, we've performed it many times, and I think we've gotten it really good right now. So we're really happy about that. And I contacted Armando, and we've just become very good friends. He's good friends with our ensemble. And when Dave and I go to Assisi, Italy in the summer to perform at the Assisi Performing Arts Festival, these last 2 years, we've done Guidoni concerts. So he was able to come and to hear his music being performed, which is very special. For my flute partner and I, Steve Markoff, he commissioned Armando to write a piece for our trio called Lazzarkoff. It's Lazzara and Steve Markoff was our group. And so Steve commissioned Armando to write this piece, and it's called I Vecchi Anni, the Old Years. It's a story of a person's life. So in the beginning, you have this beautiful melody of the baby being born. And then young childhood and a crazy teenage section, real jazzy and fast. And then at the end, the person's an adult, and then at the end they go to the light. And it's go back to Paradiso. It's so beautiful, and it's very emotional. Every time I play it, I get very emotional when I play this one part. It's very touching, and Armando's music is just so beautiful. So Steve and I were very happy to do that world premiere last week. So that was great.
That's so exciting, and it's exhilarating because it's the first time that these notes are being brought to life. They're being brought off the page and people can actually listen to them. So I can imagine that can be addicting after a while of like, okay, I want to share this new stuff with you. This is so exciting. And also as a performer, it sounds like you love a good challenge. So this can be definitely up your alley.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and the new piece, he shared a little bit of what he's written so far, and it's just tremendous. It's on the level of Jazzy Flute Challenge, very virtuosic. It's for flute and piano and string trio. So that's a very unusual combination in the flute repertoire. And so that's going to be really exciting that not a lot of, there's not that much music for that combination. We are going to perform this for the first time in July in Assisi, and we're very excited about that. So that'll be the world premiere, and then we have another concert in October 6th in Ridgewood, when we're performing on the Society Cafe concert series in Ridgewood at the Unitarian Society. Yeah. So we're going to do the USA premiere at that time. So it's very exciting.
It is very exciting. And while you've been speaking about all of these performances, it brings up my next question. You have a lot of different genres, a lot of diversity in the music that you're playing, but you also have a lot of diversity in the different ensembles that you play with. You are the founder of several ensembles, including Bella Luce. And I was wondering if you could speak about these different ensembles and how they fulfill the different musical sides of you.
Yeah, so my first group is Uptown Flutes. So Uptown Flutes, we've been together since 1999. It's an amazing group of people. There's 8 of us in the group, and we play piccolo, flute, alto flute, bass flute, contrabass, and the repertoire is it's fantastic, very virtuosic, and we're all very good players. And we played in Carnegie Hall. We played in many flute conventions. We just played in Phoenix this past summer at the flute convention there, and did this incredible piece by Anzi Rosamond called Medusa, which we sound like snakes. We have to hiss. It's very, very cool piece. And we have a bunch of concerts this spring, and we're recording our 5th album in June. Yeah, so we're doing these works by the amazing Valerie Coleman. I'm not sure if you know her. She's an amazing flutist and composer and just is sailing up in the professional world. So we're so happy for Valerie. We're also showcasing music by Louis Anthony DeLise, who has become a good friend, and 2 composers who are flutists in our group, John McMurtry and Elise Carter. So we are so happy to have their music on the album. So that's Uptown Flutes. Just amazing group of people. So we just love playing together. My next group is Late Stream Orchestra, and this is flute, guitar, and piano. And we play at nursing homes and assisted living places. We have a screen behind us with a video, relaxing video, so that the residents can watch this video and listen to the music and just kind of relax. And then we also do kind of like rock music because the pianist and the guitarist are rockers. So we do like Green Onions, and they like to do like Jerry Lee Lewis tunes, So when we play we also play in the dementia unit, which is a wonderful experience. Actually, the residents love to dance when we're playing, and while it's very, very sad to see, the people in this condition, we love that they're so happy and they're dancing. So it's a really fun experience. I also play with Liz Zarkov, which I mentioned before. So this is Steve Markov, my flute partner. And now Dave has joined us in the group. And we've recorded 3 albums so far. We're preparing for the next one also.
Wow.
And we just had a concert, last week, as I said, with the world premiere of I Vecchiani. And he's a wonderful person, Steve, very generous, very hysterically funny. So we're good friends. So it's always fun to play with Steve. And then Bella Luce. So Bella Luce is my group. We are soprano, flute, and piano. Sometimes we have a tenor. Mara Adler O'Kelly is our wonderful soprano. She specializes in Neapolitan songs and opera arias, and we're good friends. We traveled to Italy several times to play concerts and to visit friends. And Dave Melisko, as I mentioned before, is this amazing pianist. And in all the years I've been performing, I've had amazing partners. But I can really say, like, Dave and I just really clicked together as a duo. And I can just give him any of this incredibly hard virtuoso repertoire, and he just learns it. And he's just fantastic. He's very, very well versed in jazz, in any, all styles. So he's wonderful. And then Bella Luce just became a nonprofit. So I'm just kind of swimming my way into all of that paperwork and taxes and figuring out what to do with everything. So that's a huge, lots of stuff to learn for that.
Yeah, but moving into that, so what is Bella Luce's mission? And again, you just were awarded the 2023 grant from Ridgewood, and you're showcasing Armando Guidoni's works. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about Bella Luce.
Yes, our mission is just to bring, this beautiful music to as many people as we can. I'm in the process of writing some grants, learning how to do all that, and showcasing Armando's music, starting this music consortium, and we're just learning. We're starting really, what to really do and how to make our ensemble really great and to contribute to society, of course.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I've said this so many times, but I think that our step forward is through community, because especially with some of the more traditional art forms or classical art forms like classical music and opera. People are like, well, what does that have to do with me? That's something in New York City with an expensive ticket price, and that's not my world. But I think that if we contribute and become part of society and add something to our community, then it's like, okay, we're part of the daily cycle. It's like, why should people give to the arts if we're not giving to them?
Right. Yes, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're just learning what is our best mission and who to focus on. So
exactly. But also providing quality music and concerts in the community. And
absolutely.
that's already a huge enrichment, because again, I think that people would like to, have these kinds of concerts to attend without having to go to Philadelphia or without having to go to New York City, something that's local and accessible and affordable. So I think that's great.
Yeah, we have a bunch of concerts planned for the spring too. So
wonderful. Great. With Lightstream Orchestra, you were mentioning that you perform in a lot of memory care facilities, and that you utilize the screens as kind of like a visual to add with the music. I know, especially with those suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, that music can really unlock parts of the brain. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Find that adding this like multimedia other dimension helps even further to connect to those audiences?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We see a difference because we play in in the dementia unit. And then we also play like in the daily care unit, and they're just in their wheelchairs and they're just sort of watching. But in the dementia unit, they get up and dance. It's really very interesting. It's beautiful to see. They're so happy, and so it's beautiful.
It's really inspiring. And it's funny if you play, perhaps like you were saying that sometimes with your ensemble, there's some rock or some more popular pieces that even though they're in a memory unit, they know all the words to the song.
Sure.
It's really fascinating, and music is a healing thing. So that's such a wonderful, wonderful organization. That's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, we're happy to play together, and we played 2 or 3 times in a month at these places.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah. I feel like it's a ministry, like we're helping these people. So that's important.
It is important, very important.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a sense of how busy your career is, but you've had some career highlights. I know you've performed at Carnegie Hall as well as the Kennedy Center. Do you want to share some memories and moments from those experiences?
Yes, in Kennedy Center, I played there with Uptown Flutes when we were playing at the Washington Flute Convention several years ago. It was 2015. And Valerie Coleman, who I mentioned before, played with us. She played one of her pieces that she wrote for our group, actually, which was amazing. And then Alexa Still played another piece called Elegy that she wrote. These beautiful pieces. And we played in the Kennedy Center. So that was a very exciting place to play.
Yeah.
And then when I played in the big Carnegie Hall. Well, I actually played in this small Carnegie Hall, the Weill Recital Hall, several times with different ensembles and different competitions that I won, the Arts International competition. And then when I was in college in Carnegie Mellon University, we all traveled from Pittsburgh to New York to play at Carnegie Hall. And I was playing principal for this one piece called Nuage by Debussy from his 3 nocturnes. And there's a flute solo that starts in an F sharp. And I just remember, as a 19-year-old, I saw my F sharp sort of spiral out to the audience. It was one of the most extraordinary experiences to see sound, and I know it might sound a little strange, but it happens to me all the time. So to see that F sharp sort of sail out into the audience, it was really extraordinary.
Wow, that is extraordinary. What was that view like, looking out into that audience as you were watching that sound carry over?
It was beautiful. I mean, I was 19 years old, so you're just sort of awestruck by playing in Carnegie Hall, and so it was wonderful. It was a great experience.
And then on top of these amazing experiences, you played for the Papal visit at Giant Stadium. What was that like?
Yeah, that was crazy. So normally when I play a gig, I just, come an hour or so before and we do it, then we play the thing and then we go. But this was an entire day. So this is like the first time this ever happened. So get there pretty early, maybe 10 or so. I don't even remember what time. And we all rehearsed, and then we had to stay there for just hours until all these, I believe it was like 90,000 people were in the stadium that day. And unfortunately, it was pouring rain. So all these 90,000 people were totally soaked. The Pope was soaked. There was like little canopies over the altar, but nothing to really cover everyone that was there. And but the musicians were totally covered because we had all of our expensive instruments and our electricity, all that electronic equipment. But I remember my friend who was the cantor, she was totally soaked. I felt so bad for her.
Oh.
Her perfectly coiffed hair was just, totally soaked. But she sang beautifully. Yeah, so that was a fantastic experience. Just being part of that was great.
And did you get to meet the Pope, or did you just see him in passing now? Okay.
I just saw him down there. No, that would have been lovely.
But he heard your music. That's pretty cool.
Yes, he heard us playing. Yeah, it was great.
So, in addition to all of this performing, again, I'm not sure how many hours you have in your day. I only have 24. It sounds like you have more somehow. Also, in education, you have your own private studio, and I'm just going to look down because I want to get all of this correct. You are the co-director of New Jersey Flute Choir Day, conductor of Ridgewood High School Flute Ensemble, and a faculty member of Encore Music Program. How do you balance all of this with your performing career?
I try to have more than 24 hours a day, but it's just yes, life is very busy. Life is very full. I've created my life this way, so it's wonderful. I love teaching my students. Yeah, I have a lot of students, and doing the flute ensemble at Ridgewood High School this year. My group is fantastic. We had our concert last week, and I'm really happy with this group of kids. They were really very all high level players. I can't wait to start rehearsing with them with some new and challenging music next week. So that should be fun. And the New Jersey Flute Choir Day, that's a really fun event. This is our 28th year. Wow. And I haven't been involved with it for all that time, but for many of the years. So Uptown Flutes is sort of in charge of everything. And I'm one of the co-directors, and I have amazing partners to help me with everything that we do it together. And so there's usually about 100 flutists that come as part of the day. And we have 6 different performing groups, starting from the baby flutists who are like 9 or 10 years old, up to the adults. And one year I had one of my 80-year-old students was in the adult group.
Wow.
So that was, yeah. So then there's 6 different groups, and we rehearse during the day. We have lunch at the college campus. It's going to be April 13th at Caldwell University. And, we're always looking for new people. So if anyone wants to join us, just search for New Jersey Flute Choir Day. It's on the Carter Glennon website. So it's a really fun day for all the flutists.
What do you find the most rewarding from your teaching and your leadership, with these different ensembles? What do you find the most rewarding out of these experiences?
I feel like my purpose in life is to be very encouraging and very kind and helpful. That's my purpose in life. And so I love when like a student is like, oh, I can't do this. And we work on it. And like in 5 minutes, they're able to do it. And I see like their sense of accomplishment. It just makes me really happy. And of course, this translates into real life, like if they feel like they can't do something else, and, you just have to apply yourself and take steps. And, so I love helping the kids, achieve their personal greatness.
I love that you say that, because there's all different approaches to teaching, and there's all different approaches to how people view as like your preparation for life. And I think that sometimes people underestimate kindness. I think kindness is a strength. I think sometimes it takes more energy to have patience and utilize your empathy tools. But I think that that's beautiful what you're doing, because I don't think anyone makes a good decision out of fear. So if you take the fear out of it and just go, okay, no one's going to die. How do we solve this problem? We're not judging you. Everyone has challenges. No one is perfect. So let's just look at what this is, get the fear out of the way, and see how we can break it down step by step. Very much like the entrepreneurial buzz that was put in your ear when you were studying. Was this something early on that you went, yeah, I think this is important too? How did you see that importance early on?
Oh, definitely. Just to build my own career, like it was important to really just, I feel like I'm a rebel in some ways, like I'm very independent. I don't like to follow what society tells me I should do or what anyone tells me what I should do. So I love forging my own path and building my own career and doing what I love to do, follow my soul. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And I love that you're doing it while building other people up. I think
Yeah.
that's important for people to hear. There's enough room at the table for everyone.
Yes.
I feel that we're stronger together and we're stronger in collaboration,
Mhm.
and that we have a lot to learn from each other. And again, taking this fear and scarcity away, it's like, yes, there are challenges, but instead of looking at people as competitors or opponents, as no, you are my teammate, we're in this battle together. How can we help each other? And I don't know. I just also think it's a better, more positive energy and less toxic at the end of the day.
Yes, we don't want to be
So
no
I
toxic.
completely agree that sometimes you've got to be a rebel. And if you don't like the way something is, then build it the way you want it.
Yeah. And I just remembered like in high school, I don't know if it's like this in the voice world, but like flute players were so like competitive against each other. And it's sort of the same thing in college. But now like when we have our Uptown Flutes group, there's 8 of us and we're all like, there's no competition. There's no like, I'm better than you, or, it's just, we're all equals. And I love that. I just think it's like, everyone has a different path in life. There's some high school teachers and, there's an elementary school teacher, and it doesn't matter. We're all amazing flute players,
Mhm.
and it's wonderful. I just think that I love that spirit.
No, that's beautiful that you've been able to build that community. Yeah. I mean, anywhere where there's, I mean, it, a lot of shows, there's only one female lead, you know?
Mm,
So there is often a lot of competition until, and I hope, and I think there are composers out there doing this. It's like we can have multiple female characters, and it doesn't have to just be ingenue and maid. Like there's a whole range of women out there that can be portrayed on stage that I think are interesting. And I think that when you have more roles on stage and also behind the scenes that can be filled with women, that hopefully that'll help us, like you found with your collaborations, to get that competitive spirit, that fear, that scarcity attitude out. And again, look at each other as colleagues and teammates. And I think that has been slowly happening, but it could always happen a little bit more.
definitely. Yeah,
And I
for sure.
also agree with what you're saying, is that success is not just one definition. So if someone is performing and teaching at a school, and yeah, maybe they're not on a New York stage every week performing their instrument, doesn't make them any less successful. Um,
Exactly.
there are plenty of people out there on world stages who are performing, but they're miserable because other things in their life are lacking. So I that's why I love these conversations, because people listening can see that I mean, the title of the podcast is Create Outside the Box, that you don't have to be stuck in this box
Yes, I
with
love that.
your career or with your life. And as you said, even in life, you're like, I think we can do things a different way. And I think that that's really, really great for people to hear. I have to get to this very important point. You were bringing up you're traveling to Assisi, and that you are part of their summer concert series. Obviously, Italy is a huge love and influence in your life. Can you speak a little bit more about this program and why Italy is so important to you?
Ever since I was a child, I just had this affinity for the language. I just loved it. And I take Italian private lessons for several years now. I've been taking them. And actually, I started to teach myself, teach Italian lessons to people myself for beginners. So, which is really fun. And so, Italian lessons, teaching and taking them, and then teaching flute lessons, so that's another thing adding to my schedule. So just being in Italy, speaking the language, learning the culture, playing at this music festival is just so wonderful. I always say if I wasn't a musician, I would be an Italian art historian, a Renaissance art historian. So I just love the Renaissance, the art, in Firenze, the museums, there's art everywhere. And that's just my favorite place to be. And I just feel like my soul lives there. And so that's a very special place. So anywhere that I can see the art and understand the culture, and I just feel like, such an affinity for that time period, the Renaissance time period.
Yeah, and with your last name, Lazzara, I mean, obviously you're an Italian. Your grandmother singing Puccini arias coming from Sicily, correct? So it's in a sense you've connected to your heritage.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be able. It feels like a spiritual experience for me. So that's very important for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you go every summer.
Yeah.
Wow.
I try to go at least once or twice a year.
Wow, once or twice a year to Italy sounds like a perfect plan. I'll have to add that to my list of bucket lists.
Yes.
But for people who want to learn more about you and the many ensembles that you've mentioned today, where can they find out more about you, your ensembles, and your upcoming performances?
So my website is www.patricialazzaraflutist.com, and my concert schedule is there, and everything, all the information is there. And then also the information about the composing consortium is there. There's one of the tabs. And this is my greatest project that I'm so excited about. And I just know this music is going to be amazing. So you could click on that page, and you could see an introductory video about the project, and the music is going to be just tremendous. So we're so excited to be able to do the world premiere of this in July and in October in the United States. So if anyone wants to contribute, all the information is right there on the page.
That's amazing. And I will include that in the show notes, so you'll have the links to all of that. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to share not only your career, but I think a positive outlook on how one can share music. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for this interview and for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you in person and to play on your concert.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Create Outside the Box. Please subscribe, rate, and share our podcast. You can listen to Create Outside the Box on Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Check us out on our Creative Operations YouTube channel, where you can subscribe to watch our interviews. You can find and follow Creative Operations on our Facebook page and on Instagram at @CO_Creative Operations. For more information about Creative Operations, please visit www.creative-operations.org.